there's something about those lyrics. I believe in you. I believe in you. So for those of you who don't know, I used to be a comedian. That's my version of Broadway. I took 3 seconds to bring that up. And as a part of my stand-up routine, I would talk about how hard it is being a minister. That it's really, really hard. And one of the hardest things about being a minister is having to find new and creative ways every single Sunday to get up and inspire people to not be assholes. And so it is. It's hard. It's hard, right? And now more than ever, it feels like, I had a conversation recently that I was like, I don't know if I am up to the task at this moment in time to stand up and inspire people and figure out how to bridge the divide and how to convince people that we're one and how to work together to create a world that works for everyone. It just feels daunting and it feels exhausting. I'm tired. And I was like, and of course, when I feel that way, because I've committed to the consciousness of this teaching, I only get to indulge in it for about, I'm going to say 30 seconds, but I probably took a few minutes, before I have to take a look and I have to go, what's really going on, right? And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of the fight. Right now, we're fighting about diversity, equity, and inclusion, which just seems stupid. We're fighting red versus blue. We're fighting for democracy, whether it's the savior is here or whether it's going down the toilet. We're fighting constantly. But the thing is that before that, it was vaccines. It was whether or not we're going to mask up. It was whether we should be social distancing. And before that, have you ever, well, half the room probably has not ever popped into a mom's group on Facebook, but a group of moms that are supposed to be coming together because momming, the only thing harder than reverending is momming. Momming is hard. And these moms that are supposed to be coming together to help one another and to unite and to be a sounding board for one another, we're fighting about circumcision. We're fighting about whether to breastfeed or bottle feed. Like, just feed your kid. I don't know why we're fighting about this. We're fighting about, you name it. We're fighting about vaccination schedules. There's just fighting, right? And the truth is, and it's so easy to see in the moms groups, we're all just moms who love our kids, and we're afraid. We're afraid. We're afraid that we're not up to the task. We're afraid that something's going to happen to our children. And we, for some reason, have not figured out that it's okay to be vulnerable enough to say that I'm afraid. And so we fight. We other each other. We make you bad so that I can get this fear that it's in me out, right? And so I felt tired. But the truth, what I really feel is sad. I'm sad. I'm sad that my kids have to do lockdown drills at school because we can't come together as people and figure out guns. I'm sad that we are so busy fighting about whether it is our right or whether we should ban them or whatever. I don't know what the answer is. I don't really care, but I do care that our children can be safe at school and just be kids. I feel sad for the children of immigrants. I don't know about the red, blue, or the actual facts of what's going on. I am sad that children at my daughter's school are scared that their parents are going to be taken away. I'm sad about that because they deserve to be kids. They deserve to play and skip and thrive, and we adults are failing them. because we're fighting, because we don't get that we are one, that we aren't understanding that when I know who I am, anything is possible. We live in an infinite, intelligent universe where all possibilities exist, and we are collectively choosing the option of discord, of fighting, of othering people, a world where people have to think. I never have to think about going to the toilet. It's not something that I have to worry about. And I gotta tell you, she shouldn't have to worry about it either. But what I'm most sad about is that I fundamentally, to my core, believe that people are good. I do. I believe that people are kind and they are loving, and that most people would give their last dollar, that most people would run to help one another. And so when I see so much in the world of form that doesn't align with that, I feel sad that I'm forced to see if I still believe that. Because the truth is that I do. I do believe that. And I am so grateful for that Wednesday night class of practitioners, because that tethers me to the truth of who I am. That makes me believe that anything is possible. I see how they operate in the world. I see the consciousness. I read the papers. And so on one Wednesday night in particular, I was feeling particularly sad about where we're at. And I opened up Swan's paper that she had written for homework. And she had this quote from Ernest Holmes. "It is quite a burden lifted when we realize that we do not have to move the world. It is going to move anyway. This realization does not lessen our duty or our social obligation. It clarifies it. It enables us to do joyously and free from morbidity that which we should do in the social state." So this clarification, it is not, I don't know when I'm feeling this, I don't know what is mine to do. I feel powerless. Ernest Holmes says, I don't have to move the world. I don't have to, it's not mine to make the world conform to what I want it to be. It is mine to live joyously, to live love, to speak love, to express love, to be love. You know, we teach that what we focus on expands. So what are we focusing on, right? Ernest Holmes says in treatment, we turn entirely away from the condition. It doesn't say we ignore the condition, but we turn entirely away from the condition. But I gotta tell you, I've been really focused on the condition. Anybody else? Yeah. Really focused on the condition. But what we focus on expands. So if I want more love, I have to be more love. I got to tell you, you know, it's really easy when we see some people make it so easy to love them, don't they? They make it so easy. And other people are really testing my resolve. But testing my resolve does not mean that I step out of my resolve. It means that it is a call to love more. It is a call to give more. It is a call to act more kind, more in alignment with who we are. I sat in this sanctuary a few weeks ago while Eric Bork's movie showing. And the movie is about a Democrat who falls in love with a Republican who voted for Trump and finds that out after she starts dating him and is in a bit of a conundrum. There's, some value differences between them of what they think is important and trying to navigate this relationship. And the room afterwards, we had a Q&A afterwards, and the room leaned mostly left. It was predominantly blue, and so conversations about politics and about, the movie and the timing of the movie and just a lot of blue talk going on in this room. And one of the members of this congregation who I adore and love, and I know his heart, and I know who he is, stood up and bravely said, I got to tell you, I'm a Republican, and I love this community, and I love these people, and I'm not going anywhere. And I love all of you. And it has stuck with me ever since, because in the othering, first of all, that man had to come out of the closet in this room. Right? I mean, literally, in a room that was not willing really to accept. He had to come out as a Republican. And I thought, first of all, it started to make me question what I think and what I know, because I know that man's heart. And it's so easy for me to think, oh, they're voting against people, or they don't like people, or they're, and it doesn't matter what side you're on, because but I guess, listen, I'm blue, if you didn't get it yet. But I realized I had to rethink some of the ideas that I have and some of the othering that I'm doing, because that man is not a bigot, and he is not somebody who is against people's rights or against love only. He stands up with each and every one of us every Sunday and says our vision statement wholeheartedly and believes it. So I have to look into my own heart and figure out what's going on with me. And so I think there are some things that we can do. I think that when I go back to Ernest Holmes' state about living joyously and living love, it became clear to me as I ruminated on that quote of what is mine to do. So there's a few action items that I do. Feel free to take them or leave them. One, may I recommend that you consume 1 hour or less of news every day. Oh, yeah. I wanted to say 15 minutes, and I was like, nobody's going to go for that. Give them an hour. Let's be reasonable here. May I suggest that you start looking at the news that you're consuming? There is a website called allsidesmedia.com that tells you which news leans left, which news leans right, and which news aims to be in the center and just give you the facts. I have stopped consuming news that leans left or right. I have started focusing on fact-based news because I don't want to other anyone. Guess what, folks? People don't like being othered. We're seeing it. We're watching it. The diversity and equity and inclusion fight is all about don't other me, right? The whole thing is don't other me. Somebody shouldn't have to come out of the closet as a Republican either. Right? We need to get rid of the closets, because if we're gonna solve this, I need both sides to come together and make it so my kid doesn't need a lockdown drill. That's what I need. I need all sides to come together and create the world that I know is possible. I know it's possible. And the last thing that I've committed to doing, that I invite you to do along with me, is to dream big. Let's put our focus on the world that we want. Let's put our focus on the world that we want to see. Let's give somebody in a MAGA hat our last dollar. Let's start loving one another. And the title of my talk is Told you I'd get to it, Thor. That ordinary Tuesday kind of love. We think that it takes big gestures. We think that it's too big. So much of what we're feeling, so much of this sadness is this feeling of powerlessness. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to make it better. It all feels too big. But first of all, we are infinite in scope. We are infinite. The love that we have, those reserves, are infinite. There is always more love. But we don't need the grand gestures. It doesn't take some huge sweeping moment. It literally takes that ordinary Tuesday kind of love. When I picked this because we celebrated Valentine's Day, and when I first got with Austin, a long time ago now, and we were still in that honeymoon phase where, like you go to Starbucks to use the bathroom because you don't want him so much bathroom talk, because you don't want him to know. You don't want him to know that you go number 2, like where you're just still like, you just want to keep the mystery alive and still love each other. And it was our first Valentine's Day, and he said, "What do you want to do for Valentine's Day?" And I said, "Oh, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day." And I'm confident he thought it was a trap. He was like, "I better have roses on hand just in case. I don't want to mess this up. I mean, she doesn't even use the restroom. She's perfect." So I said, "No, I think Valentine's Day is stupid. If you can't show me that you love me every single day of the week, all the other days of the year, you can't make it up with chocolate and flowers one day of the year." Right? And so that man, for the next 21 years, I think we've been together 21, 22 years. Sometimes it feels like 50, sometimes it feels like 4. He shows me he loves me by putting gas in my car. He shows me he loves me by making sure that I never run out of Red Bull in the fridge. He shows me he loves me by being consistent, by being kind, by supporting my dreams, by allowing me to be exactly who I am and not asking me to be anything other than my most authentic, audacious self. And that is that ordinary Tuesday kind of love. And that we can all do. We can all spread that around. I ask us all to remember who you are, because you are loving, infinite, powerful, and amazing. That's who you are. I invite you to go out this week and love like it's who you are, because it is. And most importantly, I invite each of you to go out into the world and not be an asshole. Namaste.